Hi, this is Ellie. Thanks for joining me today. No, the title of this video is not clickbait. This is definitely a goodbye. And I'm going to explain to you in this video what I mean. I've been here on YouTube for 5.5 years, thereabouts, and I was an accidental YouTuber. I know that many people go onto YouTube either because they have something to say or because they want to monetize the skill that they have, or they feel that they can reach an audience, and it's really all about being able to kind of promote yourself and your ideas and things like that. I actually came here for a different reason. I came here because I had questions and I was scanning wherever I could to see if I could find answers. And if you want more information about that, it all appears in my book, Truth Lies in Twilight, The Prophecy. I was chasing a prophecy and trying to understand why I'm having certain dreams about people who exist on the other side of the world that have nothing to do with me and things like that. And it was all coming together. And I had tried all different ways to get answers. And ultimately, I ended up on the internet and then ended up on YouTube and started posting videos in the hopes that there would be someone who would understand what I'm talking about other than my mum. And as it happens, a following kind of grew, and then the channel just morphed into what it turned out to be. I didn't intend to do tarot card readings. In fact, I didn't even talk about tarot in the first couple of videos. I was talking about the dreams that I'd been having, which had brought me into the forum in the first place. And I remember the very first time or second time I did tarot on the channel, somebody commented, I'll never forget, they said, "Oh, stick to the dreams, love, because your tarot sucks." It morphed into a tarot channel and ultimately became a political tarot channel. And that's where it was for around about 5 years, or not even, about 4.5 years. About a year ago, I stopped doing political tarot. A year ago. A year ago. That's how quickly it actually has passed. And I noticed a change in the viewership from that point on. For as long as I was doing political tarot, my viewers seemed to understand me and they felt safe in that environment, and I was giving them whatever it is that they felt that they needed from the channel. But as soon as I stopped doing political tarot, which I had a reason for that, everything changed, and I am still feeling it nearly a year later. The reason why I stopped doing political tarot, I'm going to explain it to you because I want you to really understand so that it helps you to understand my decision today. I was invited, about a year and a half ago, I was invited to begin a radio show, Human Ascension with Ellie, which I did. I started doing Human Ascension with Ellie on the KGRA platform about a year and a half ago. And I was really enjoying it. This was a research-based episode every week that would run for about an hour. I still have those episodes in a playlist here on this channel, and I would look every single week at seemingly unrelated things. So it could be science and spirituality, or religion and the UFO experience, or psychology and world events, or something like that, and I would marry them together, sometimes in really unexpected ways. Anyway, after 6 to 9 months, my show, Human Ascension with Ellie, was in the top 5 of all of the KGRA shows, and it was #1 on Spreaker. So people were really enjoying it. However, I experienced a couple of phenomena happening at once. The first thing was all of this research into all of these unrelated concepts. It took me to an unexpected place, and I ended up doing a series of episodes on Gnosticism. The very first one was an examination of the Book of Mary in Gnosticism, and something about that book and the very quiet, gentle, soft messaging of that gospel just ignited something in me, and it began a kind of an awakening. That was one thing that was happening. At the very same time, I was also experiencing this mismatch between the radio show and the YouTube channel. Because the radio show was so popular, it was picking up new subscribers who were coming and following me to the Ellie Dreams and Under channel. But when they came to the Ellie channel, they discovered partisan tarot card readings, which was in the complete opposite of what I was talking about on the radio show. And so I was able to see from the comments that they were disappointed in that. And because I was awakening as a person, I also began to see that it didn't make any sense. It also didn't feel right. And so what happened was I decided to let go of the politics. There are lots of tarot card readers out there who are doing politics. So, you can just fall over a rock and there'll be one waiting for you. They're everywhere. And there is a reason for that. And it's actually a tried and tested historical, factual reason. And that is during times of crisis, when people's anxiety levels are elevated, they go looking for good news to make them feel better, to help them soothe themselves. You'll notice that YouTube is completely immersed in spiritual, psychic, mediumship, all of these people who are giving good news stories, regardless of what your viewpoint is. They've got like a reading for everything. Well, this is something that has always happened during time. Whenever there is a lot of anxiety within society, many people will go looking for positive answers, and often, the place that they end up going is a spiritual kind of place where someone will then step in and say, I'll give you what you want to hear. And that's the phenomena. I didn't feel comfortable doing that, especially because when I was reading the tarot cards, they often were saying something completely different to what all the other psychics and tarot card readers were saying. And the only way that I can explain that is that I'm not psychic. And so I was reading the cards as a language. And so in order for me to tell you something other than what was in the cards, I'd have to just pluck it out of my head. And so if I read the cards in a genuine, truthful way, they were saying something different to what all of the psychics and tarot card readers on YouTube were saying. They were saying that we're heading in a different direction. And of course, that became very unpopular because people would be spending hours watching their favorite psychic, telling them that humanity is going in this direction. And then they would come onto my channel and they'd hear something different. And so they would start to lash out and say that that I'm wrong and that, I don't know, I'm fear-mongering or being negative or something. No, I was just being truthful is what I was being. And all I could tell you is what I could see. So when I put all of this together, I thought to myself, well, it's not gelling. And the one thing that seems to be the problem is the politics. So I'm just going to get the politics out of the tarot readings. And instead, I'm going to try and introduce non-political tarot, which I loved, which is the woo-woo that I talk about, the woo-woo tarot. And that's where I'm looking at everything else. So looking at existential questions and asking those questions and looking at unexplained phenomena and asking the cards about that and looking at perhaps trying to see if I can get answers for things like cold cases and even offering personal readings on issues of psychology that will help more than one person. And just looking at everything and even looking at current affairs in a different way, as though looking at it in terms of the way that societies operate and trying to lift the veil of some of the games that are being played and using tarot for that. But I found that it was a much softer form of tarot, but my audience were accustomed to the political tarot. And so when I withdrew the political tarot from the channel, I started getting hostility from some of these viewers. And I have to say I was a bit surprised. I'm not surprised by it anymore because it's sort of, I've gotten to know YouTube better. And YouTube is a very hostile place where people, being anonymous and just having a handle that you can change the name anytime you want. And if you get blocked, you just, create another handle with another thing and come back and things. Well, it's very anonymous. There's no real accountability. And so people, they vent their frustrations by saying nasty things to the content creators on YouTube. That's just the way it is. And so I just sort of ignored it. And it's been about a year since then, and people are still hostile towards me because I'm not doing the political tarot. But they're still at the same time hanging on to every word I say. So it's very strange. I even have people who sometimes comment and say, I unsubscribed from you ages ago, but I've come here to tell you how horrible you are. And I think to myself, Gosh, ever since I discovered YouTube, I must have unsubscribed from people. I don't know, I probably unsubscribed from an average of about 10 people a year, 20 people a year. I don't think I've ever come back to tell them how much I hate them. When I just lose interest, I just unsubscribe and move on. And I subscribe to the people I do want to invest my time in. It's just weird. But anyway, to those people, thank you for your algorithms. I wanted to let you know that I have started a new channel, and it's called Tarot Well Done. That channel has been up and running for about a week, and it's nothing but tarot. Okay, so if you enjoy my tarot card readings, then the best thing for you to do is to go and subscribe to Tarot Well Done, because that's where you're going to get the tarot from. But I have to warn you, it is purely about tarot. There's no partisan content and there's no divisive content. The purpose for Tarot Well Done, the channel, is to exhibit and showcase the tarot cards, and to be able to help people to learn to read tarot the way that I do, and to enjoy that method of reading tarot, and just to ask questions and have them answered. And so let's just see where it goes. At the moment, I am migrating archived content onto the channel in the hopes that it already starts to spark interest. I do have a milestone that I have to reach in order to monetize that channel. And so until I'm able to do that, I'm going to continue to migrate the archived readings. The readings that I'm sending over to Tarot Well Done, to the channel Tarot Well Done, are the readings that have stood the test of time. They're just about all kinds of questions. They might be personal readings, they might be cold case readings, there might be readings about UFO phenomena or the extraterrestrial question, or things related to astrology, or even current affairs that are more societal in nature. So higher level, like none of the partisan politics or anything like that. I'm never going to do that kind of tarot ever again. And we'll just see. The whole point of that channel is to see whether people love tarot enough to be an audience to a channel that has no agenda, none whatsoever. The only thing the channel is about is that love of tarot and the love of tarot readings in the style that I do. And so this is your chance, if you are a lover of tarot, to subscribe to that channel. And I'll make sure that the link to the channel is in the description for today's show. And also I will make sure that if you have access to the video cards that appear in the last 20 or 30 seconds of this video, that a link to that channel, Tarot Well Done, will also be there, that you can just press the card and go and subscribe. Right. However, that comes with the other side of the story. And that side of the story is based on something that I experienced in the past few days. The other day, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And Charlie Kirk, for anyone who doesn't know who he is a Christian-based, nationalist, activist, public personality. He has a political Christian take on the world, and he is a very powerful speaker who has a large following in the young Christian movement. He's considered to be conservative by some, and by others he's considered to be right-wing. He calls himself a Christian activist and a nationalist. He specifically says that he's not a Christian nationalist, and he probably has his own definition of that. Well, he was assassinated probably less than a week ago. And one morning I woke up, and that was the first thing that I noticed. And I thought, gosh, I have been talking about things like compassion and unity and wanting to reach out and be inclusive to people who have all different kinds of viewpoints. I think that it's responsible of me to come on and put a post and just say something that will help to calm people down in the best way that I can. And it's very important for me not to monetize it. I want it to be a very genuine message. I thought about doing a video, but then I thought, no, I don't want to put up a video that makes it look as though I'm trying to capitalize on someone's murder. So the only other way that I have to communicate is to post a community post tab. And so I did. It was pretty brief, but I just said, yes, I've just become aware that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. And I know that we all have very strong views on him as a person. But in keeping with the general message of this channel, before we respond, could we please just pause and reflect? Because this was a family man. He has a wife, he has children who are in mourning. And he and they and the people who love him deserve our compassion. And so before we respond, let's just stop and reflect about the fact that this was a person, regardless of what his views are. And if not for him, then for others. And then I posted the comment, the message. And to be honest, I stepped away from the computer because I'm in the middle of moving house and I'm really busy, and I was packing boxes and just wasn't in front of my devices or anything. I was just packing and doing physical things. I think it was around about 10 hours later that I thought I'm going to catch up on the channel and just see what's going on and respond to comments and things like that. And the very first thing I did was I clicked on to see what the comments were. I was very, very surprised. Oh gosh, I was so surprised. So there were more comments than I've had recently on my videos. And it was probably the most popular thing that I've done in about 2 weeks or something. I can't remember. I actually ended up deleting that post because I was so shocked by the response that it was like I didn't want it to continue. So I just deleted. And actually I should have kept it because I won't do that again. Next time I'm going to keep it and I'm going to show you the reasoning behind what I'm saying. But you know what? I had posted that comment knowing that the death of Charlie Kirk was going to be a pinnacle moment, and a fire would begin to rage, and everything that we do could potentially be another log on the fire. And this is a really dangerous moment, and that we have to think before we act. And that includes speak. The comments that I saw were broken up into a number of categories. There were a large number of people who commented and said they're numb, they don't actually care whether he's dead. And they've just got no feelings towards it at all. And then there was another category of people who said he deserved it. He deserved to die because he spoke very strongly, or his rhetoric was inflaming people to violence, or whatever it was. But they felt that he deserved it, that, live by the sword, die by the sword, that kind of thing. And he brought it on himself. And then there was a third category of people who said this is a great first step, and now we should be doing it to other people as well. And there was even one person, although there may have been more, but I remember seeing one person who said that the fact that he's dead makes her feel safer now. I'm going to respond to that comment straight away. And that is, if you feel safer now because Charlie Kirk is dead, then you definitely have your head in the sand. Because Charlie Kirk had built a massive movement of young, energetic people who now some of them might feel as though they have the right to retaliate. This is a more dangerous moment in time for someone like you. And so to think that assassinating a person is going to make anyone safer is just delusional. And then, of course, there was another category of people, and they were people who just pissed all over my comment and said things like they're sick of me being a moral compass, and that they kind of want me to be less compassionate, and they want me to be more accusatory, and they want me to be more partisan. and they want me to point the finger at other people, and they're just sick of me being a nice person. And I'm not really surprised by just that by itself, because, the numbness, I've seen it before, people saying that someone on the other side of the political spectrum deserves it. I mean, I can put this into perspective for people. If you think that Charlie Kirk deserved to be assassinated, imagine how it feels to be on the other side of that. Imagine to be one of the people who love him, his wife or his children or his fans or his followers or people who just admired him because they believed in him. Imagine how that makes them feel when you say that he brought it on himself. And before you commit yourself to how you think they're going to feel, look at it from a different perspective. Are you a mother or a father or a grandparent? Do you have a daughter or a granddaughter who's just about to leave the house? And she looks so cute in her little dress. And she walks out there looking like a little doll. And then she comes back home later, devastated and ruined forever and psychologically damaged for the rest of her life because she's been raped. But you know what? The other people out there, they say she deserved to be raped because she was wearing a short skirt and showing off too much leg, and she brought it on herself. Now you're going to say, perhaps, that it's two different things because the young girl is innocent and she's allowed to wear whatever she wants. But you know what? It doesn't matter what the other person was. It doesn't matter. This is the point. It doesn't matter whether they're a good or a bad person. It doesn't matter whether they are a Christian nationalist or a young girl in a miniskirt. It's not about them. It's about us. It's about the compassion. That's what it's about. And it doesn't matter who you point the finger at. All you're doing is pointing to yourself and your own lack of compassion. And numbness is in the same category. There is a process of indoctrination and radicalization that takes place. And one of the very first steps of indoctrination and radicalization is numbness. Once you're numb, you've lost your footing, and you can be convinced to go a certain way, into a certain silo. So if you have a numbness towards his death, you are at a danger point as a person. Can you see what I was able to see from these comments? People ranging from numbness to glee at a person's death because they were still projecting onto him, when in fact it's about us. It's about us and whether we have that compassionate humanity within us, even for people that might be the enemy. From a religious perspective, if you're a Christian, I could say Jesus told us to love our enemy. But you know what? Even if you take religion out of it, from the psychological perspective, they call it projection. And actually, if you don't know what that is, just look at yesterday's video, because that's, as it happens, I had that one in a lineup. It's about what's inside us. It's not about whether Charlie Kirk is a good person or a bad person. It's not about whether the daughter or the granddaughter is wearing a miniskirt that might be a bit too revealing. That's not the issue. The issue is what's inside us, that compassion. So there was one other thing, but this was the tipping point for me. And it was a very small thing in terms of the number of comments. There were people who commented and they said that they loved Charlie Kirk and that they're devastated by his death. And I looked at the responses that people posted to those people and I was just ashamed. I was so ashamed because and I just want to apologize. Gosh, I'm so sorry that it came from my community. To the people who got the response that they go, oh gosh. There was one person in particular, and I really wish that I had kept this post so that I could show you all of these comments. I promise I will never do that again. I'm going to make sure I keep them. I think you should see them in order to understand what I mean. But it's too late now. I've deleted it. But to the person who posted that they loved Charlie Kirk and they believed in him and they're devastated that he died, and then received the comments from people saying, in response to your comment, saying that he brought it on himself and that he deserved it. I'm really, really sorry. And I'm so sorry that it came from my community. I am just so embarrassed and ashamed by the behavior of those people. But I also remember a person who didn't say that, and I don't remember what their name was, but all I remember is they had a pink avatar. I just remember the pink or purple. And they responded in exactly the way that I would hope that we would have responded. And they said that they were sorry for your loss and genuinely felt a sense of grief at the fact that this could happen to someone that you care about. And I want to thank that person for being the one and only person that I saw who responded that way. I'd like you to get in touch with me, please, and we'll have a chat. I just want to say thank you. There was also a person who left a very lengthy comment that hit me really hard. And they have a technical background, and they were talking about how the algorithm is being affected by the legacy of political tarot that I used to do in the past. I didn't really understand that bit. We've spoken now, and now I do understand it better. This person was, they got my attention because they were describing a lot of things that are true that no one else has really seen in me. They were able to recognize the motives that I have for what I do, and they were lashing out, but they weren't lashing out at Charlie Kirk, and they weren't lashing out at his fans, and they weren't lashing out at the others. They were lashing out at the lack of compassion that they could see in the comments. And that was something that really got my attention, because they were saying things that I was thinking, and I've already been in touch with this person and we've communicated, but what they've done is they've shown me what's happened to this channel and the reason why the algorithms are not working the way that they should. And so now I have that information at my disposal. I know what to do with it. There was also another phenomenon that occurred, and that was that, the people who did feel compassion at the loss of a human being didn't feel the confidence to be able to speak in the comments. They were being drowned out by the people who were either expressing their numbness or expressing their glee or talking about how he brought it on himself or how it's just one down and, who's next? Let's hope it happens again kind of thing. Those people were too frightened to comment. They were compassionate, but it was their compassion that held them back. And I thought to myself, no, I don't want that. I want a safe place. I want my channel to be a safe place for those people. And so I had to think to myself, which is what I've been doing for the past couple of days, what do I do? Well, how do I respond to this? And I thought to myself, okay, I need to do a hard stop. I need to do a hard stop and make sure that I make this very, very clear to people. Because I've tried to be, the compassionate side of me has tried to understand the broad spectrum of viewers. I'm welcoming people from everywhere. I don't care what your political views are. None of that, makes any difference to me, because I want to build an inclusive community of people who have all different kinds of ideologies. But we come together because we just want to know more. We want to know more about ourselves. We want to heal ourselves. We want to be able to understand the world around us and see the games that are being played that are kind of manipulating us, and also look at the marrying up between things that don't at first glance look as though they're related to each other, but they are, and to kind of try and predict the way that the world is going and to be part of a force for good and to be the strongest psychological kind of base that we can be so that we can cope with the future in positive ways and build on that and have a soul-led kind of community that builds positivity. That's what I want to do, but an aware community too that knows what is around us. But there are a number of people who are subscribed to this channel or watch it on a casual basis who don't agree with the things that I say, but they're hoping that I come to my senses and go back to the political tarot. Well, to those people, that's never going to happen. I'm never going to do that. And if you want to try and turn the Titanic around so that it faces the direction you want, you're not going to be successful because, I'm the one who owns this channel and I just don't believe that it's the right thing to do. I want to be an inclusive, positive force, even if it means that I have a small channel, because being positive and being available for positive reasons for a small number of people is more important than having great big numbers of angry people who are digesting me like the latest drug. I'm just not interested in that. And so you'll just have to get over it. It's been a year and I don't want to get stuck in the political rhetoric and, I'm just not interested. So it might be time for you to move on. You're welcome to stay or you're welcome to leave and then later come back once you've changed your mind. It's up to you. It's a free world. You just do what you like. But I'm never going to cater to that ever again. The people that I'm here for are the ones who are like me. They're caught in the middle. And they're caught in the middle of this madness. They don't want to be stuck in any kind of political rhetoric. They don't want to be pushed into a silo. They want to be able to think for themselves and they want to enjoy my content. And that's it. Those are the people that I want to cater to. The people who are growing in their sense of compassion because they're becoming more aware, because they're ascending. Those are the people that I'm speaking to. And I see you and I know that sometimes it's intimidating because there are bigger, louder, angry voices that just always have to be heard. But I'm not here for them. I'm here for you. And so that's what I'm here for. And I'm going to continue to cater to you. In order to do that, though, I'm going to stop doing tarot on this channel completely. There will never, ever be a tarot reading on this channel ever again. Ever. That's the hard stop that I have to do in order to get my message across to people. That I will not ever go down the route that causes division and partisan politics. Never again. And because there are so many legacy people who are hanging on in the hopes that I go back to how it was, I have to just make it really clear I'm never going to do that again. So to those people who've been waiting for me to come to my senses, that's not going to happen. So goodbye. I understand that you're going to unsubscribe and that the numbers of this channel will probably plummet. But like I said, when I quit my business and came here, I had 19,000 subscribers and somehow it worked. I'm going to focus on the people who understand what's behind my motives, what my motives are, that actually lead me to be the kind of person that I am. I'm here to cater to the people who want to be good people, who want to learn about their surroundings and learn about themselves, who want to build that psychological resilience rather than rely on some kind of magical thinking that everything's going to be okay. And people who want to understand the reality that we live in or look at it from a spiritual perspective, but something that's also grounded and realistic and helpful in real practical ways. Those are the people that I'm speaking to. And if you're one of those people, I want to thank you because you are the lifeblood of this community. You are the people that I'm here talking to every single time I post a video. I'm understanding you a little bit better now too. And even if it's just you and my mum, just you and my mum watching, then I'm still grateful. So thank you very much. The ones who aren't really with me, well, you're not really with me. So what do I care what you think? You go and do your thing. And then when you're ready, I'll still be here. And if you're never ready, then see you later. So I'm saying goodbye to those people. And they can go and do what they like. But to the people who are with me and where this channel resonates, the ones who are building their compassion and their awareness and their ascension, thank you. Because you guys are my rock. And I'm never going anywhere when it comes to you. I will always be here. Even if I don't make a penny, I will still be here. Because in a way, you give me just as much as I give you. Now, on to the standard business of this channel. I'm in the middle of moving house. This is going to be something that goes on for about the next 6 weeks. And over the next 6 weeks, I'm all over the place, okay, because I've just got lots of physical things that I have to do. So I cannot have any kind of set schedule. I'm going to try to produce 2 good quality videos a week. I might step in with a couple of shorts or a couple of other shorter videos. I don't know. It depends on what I have the ability to do. But I'm going to try and accomplish 2 good quality videos a week that are full of substance, are well researched, and cater to the purpose of this channel. None of those videos are going to be tarot. I'm going to be looking at the reality of life, what it means spiritually speaking, how to navigate it and get the best out of it so that we can build a beautiful brand new world. And how to do it by retaining that compassion within us, because this is what's crucial and that's what's going to keep us going. So those who are with me, I see you. And I'll be here as often as I can be. Those of you who love my tarot readings, those tarot readings will continue. But for now, just go and take a look at my Tarot Well Done channel and take a look at the content that's coming in and subscribe if you want to. And as the numbers go up and as my availability increases, then I will start posting there as well. I also plan to have a video on the homepage that allows you to leave questions that you'd like the cards to answer. So we're going to start again. When it comes to the tarot, we're going to start again. But this time we're going to make sure that there really is nothing there for the people who are fixated on the politics, because at least that way it'll be tarot for the love of tarot. That's all I had to say today. This is Ellie, Dreams Down Under. Welcome to the new world. I love knowing you're here, and I'll see you in my dreams. Bye.